So you might hear people say, oh, them houses aren't built like they used to, they ain't using the same wood in them. These new houses are just going up so quick, they ain't worth nothing like them older houses. So these are the pros and cons of owning a older home. Starting out with the pros of owning an older home is that if you were looking for something that you can make personal use, that you can do some renovating to, then an older home might be the route for you because you can add some of them personal touches. Most of the time in these older homes, stuff's going to be outdated, so it's going to need to be fixed up. So that's going to allow you, if you're the type of person that you're a flipper or a DIY project, that you can go in, make that house exactly how you want to, exactly how you envision it. Another pro is sometimes, not all the time, these older homes, since they are built way back when, is they're going to be a little bit closer to that town. So if that town is still active, up and running, and you're looking to be closer to a town, then an older home's probably gonna be pretty close, but so they didn't have to travel far into town. Another pro is if you were looking for a neighborhood that is already established, these older homes most likely are going to be completed neighborhoods. So you aren't going to have to worry about construction trucks coming in or them pouring concrete in there unless they're adding on to it. Most of these older houses that are in neighborhoods are completed neighborhoods. With older homes, most of the time you're going to get a little bit bigger lot if they haven't subdivided or took anything out of it if it's the original lot. That is because back in the day, people loved their land. So some of these houses, instead of being on a half an acre lot or a quarter acre lot, they might even be on an acre up to 3 acre lot, just depending on the parcel of property. In these older homes, most of the time, they are probably going to be a little more affordable just because of how old they are. So if you're looking for something that, maybe isn't as expensive as these new construction builds, then looking towards an older home might be the route for you. In some cases, that older home might even be an investment. Let's say that 3 years down the road that the state's planning on going and putting a highway in. Then, they're going to give you a good chunk of money for that house. So if you buy that house low and the state comes in and gives you a lot of money so they can put that highway in, you might make a little bit of a profit off of it. And the last pro for you, and I know you've been waiting on me to say it, these older houses are not built like these new houses. These older houses are built to last. These people planned on living in these houses for years so they can pass this down to their generations. So they built these houses so that they can last. So instead of using, cheaper lumber, they probably use, a little bit thicker, more raw lumber, more stuff that's going to hold up to the weathering, to, earthquakes, stuff like that. Because they wanted to be one and done. They wanted to get this house up for their family so that they could live in it, raise their children in it, farm out of it, do whatever they needed to do back then out of one house. Moving around isn't like it is today back then. Most of the time back then, people, they would just find a spot, they would claim it, and they would stay. So these older houses are built to last. Now over to the con side of things. So the cons of buying an older house is they're going to need some work normally. The foundation could be bad on, they might not be up to building code. So you might have to do some work into it just to be able to get into that house and make sure it's gonna last. The foundation could be cracking on it, the roof could be bad, the electrical wiring could be outdated, or it could really be anything. Another con is sometimes that these older houses could lack the storage space that some people want and they need. That is because, they probably had a cellar for their canned goods and stuff like that, but closets, stuff like that really wasn't a thing back then. They had chests, they had, other resources than putting in a closet. So if you're looking for something storage-wise, then an older home might not be the route for you. A lot of people don't think about this one, but if there is nearby trees on that property and they're old trees, then them roots can go up underneath the ground and corrupt that whole foundation. If there's trees nearby, you might could be dealing with a root problem with roots going up underneath the house. Maintenance costs. It could cost a good chunk of change for you to get that house how you want it to go. If you have a massive family, then looking at these older homes are typically smaller. They wanted to get the most out of what they had, so they built smaller homes. They didn't need as much space. Nowadays, if you're looking for something big that each kid can have their own room, have their own place, peace and quiet, place to study, whatever it is, then these older homes might not allow you to have that type of space that you were wanting. Another con is these older homes don't have the technology that these new homes have in them. That don't mean you can't put them in, but straight out, they're not going to be as energy efficient as these new build homes are. Another thing is to think about is these appliances that you want in a new house might not have or have room for in an older house. So some older houses don't have spaces for dishwashers, washing machines, dryers, stuff like that, just because they didn't think about them back in the day. As is these newer houses, normally they're gonna have a space for everything. So if this video helped you weigh your options of going with a new home versus an old home, be sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more video content like this, be sure to hit that follow button.